In photography, bracketing is the general technique of taking several shots of the same subject using different settings. Exposure, flash, depth of field, white balance, and ISO are all types of bracketing that can be performed. Today, we will be looking at exposure bracketing on the Canon 5D and creating an HDR image in Photoshop. Okay, here we are at our location. We'll be using the Canon 5D Mark II for our bracketing today. Most DSLR cameras should be able to do bracketing. If you're not sure how to do that, consult your manual under bracketing, AEB, or auto exposure bracketing. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that our mode is set to the correct mode. I'm going to use P, which stands for programmable auto exposure. So that means everything else will be automatic and we'll program the exposure. We can manipulate that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into the menu. Oh, should have it turned on first. Then we'll go into the menu. And in the menu, we want to look for Expo Comp /AEB. And then we'll click Set. And here's where you can set your exposure. I'm going to go ahead and go down to -1. And then if you use the upper dial on the upper right-hand side, you can see that it'll give you your different exposures for the three different pictures. Here we'll have -3, a -1, and a 1. So we click Set, Menu. And if you have multiple shots selected, it'll take 3 pictures consecutively and then stop. And as you see, we have 3 different pictures at 3 different exposures. Okay, so we can take those images and create an HDR picture in Photoshop, or we can do it again at a different stop. So we'll go back in. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up to the opposite end of the spectrum. So we have -1, 1, and 3. We'll set that, hit menu, 3 more pictures. And so now we have 6 pictures at different stops. Okay. Now, in order to turn off AEB, you can just simply shut it off like I just did, or you can go through the menu and turn it off in there. Another tip is that you can't use a flash or bulb exposure when you're in auto exposure, when you're in programmable auto exposure bracketing. In the next video, we'll look at using these photos to create an HDR image in Photoshop. Thank you for joining me. I'm Steven Streeter.